It's Monkey. From Chudabo, Delariavo, Mediavo, Servicieso. This is YTV Broadcasting Media Services in Mombasa. Good morning. My name is Livingstone Makoha. Join me today. I have a story to tell. But before that, let's begin the headlines. Halifax High School history. Did you know that Halifax, it was constructed in the year 2016, which is 8 years down the line? This is a clear indication that the school has made students to have a humble environment whereby they cannot be distracted by external noise. In the same year, teachers were employed to ensure learning takes place effectively from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. as they endeavor to explain than state, break it down rather than just convey. This institution, it is located in Nyali area, whereby it has good facilities, lab apparatus, techniques of projection, and a strong team of scouts that are committed here fully on Mondays and Fridays to the vigorous service of the school. The activities that take place in school include music, drama club, traditional dance, and academic trips to places like Kwasini Highlander, Shimoni Caves, and Shimba Hills. But the big question is, why? Why? Oh, why? Why parents are not paying school fees on time? This is because they are not committed to pay it. And today we have a live interview with the principal of the school, Mr. Thomas. Welcome for the interview. Before watching this video, remember to go to YouTube and do not forget to subscribe. Fire your questions, comments to the SMS line 4436. The hashtag is News Morning. So, Mr. Thomas,
yes.
Can you first introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, about Thomas Ugoni. I'm the director of the school. Yes.
And can you try and figure out maybe challenges that you have came across since you are the principal of this school? Can you try to figure out some challenges that you have faced, please?
Yeah, the challenges are so many, beginning from the school fee payments, which is actually is not well done by the majority of the parents due to the economic status. Another challenge is, we are in Mombasa, where we cannot say that there is absolute eradication of drug influence with the young generation. As students might come to school, sometimes you wonder what's happening. Some might look like out of their senses, even though I would say that confidently that in our school it is not possible. That's the greatest challenge. Another challenge could be I would talk about remuneration or payments of salaries of teachers. That still backs to the economic status of the parents to pay school fees. Another big problem is the inflow of students since the under transition began with the government. Students are not coming to school at the effective time. You can imagine when the second term, and now is when some of the students are reporting to school. This is due to family issues, family problems, lack of finances, and the rest. Another problem could be feeding. Most children don't take lunch in school, not because they want, but because the families cannot actually do what their families cannot support. So learning becomes very difficult. Imagine a student being in school from earlier 6:40 to 6. It is actually unimaginable, it is impossible, because those hours requires at least something in the, to sustain the child. If there is any other challenge, it could be the TSC section. The TSC knows very well that we try to. Halifax employs TSC teachers. So every time they have a shortage somewhere, they come to school, they interrogate teachers, they take them that way. So sometimes this actually interfere with the learning process in school. Being a private school and they're taking them for internship, maybe for permanent employment, and we have nothing to do about it. That also might be interfering with the learning in school. Lastly, there is social effects on the child. Social relations between the Mombasa students, social relations between the Mombasa students and their parents also. Mombasa is a very technical area. In fact, I would say that it is the only city that I've worked in that I don't expect there is any other to compare with in Kenya because of the low cohesion between the parents and their children. This gives us a lot of time. Sometimes we solve cases here that are supposed to be solved by the chief, by the DO, and by the police. So that's a very great challenge. Parents have no time for their children, so that they sit down with their children and even advise them effectively. And that is why we face such challenges.
Okay, if maybe you are going for maybe a competition, for instance, as the principal, you need funds, okay? Is the school providing, or maybe the parents? Because I was trying to go through your history, Halifax, in the internet, and I saw that. So maybe can you try and express it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, what we are talking about is very true. There's a lot of challenges when we now look at the broad spectrum of education. Students do not only need indoor classes. Students are supposed to be taken for example, academic trips, which involve historical and geographical and any other. You find this becoming a very milestone simply because the parents cannot support this. And if you people hear this, I think this should actually be on the social media that anybody can see. Most Africans believe that students are supposed to be taught in class alone. Outdoor classes are even the best because it's like a practical learning. Just before Corona, we had a trip to Rwanda. We were supposed to take our students for genocide in Rwanda. Everybody was supporting this, but I want to say maybe the Corona came in and we could not actually manage it. But also, if you look at the previously, I would say that we had so many supporting parents in the previous, because imagine we have visited Vasco da Gama, Gede Ruins, we visited Wasini Islands, Shimoni Caves, Shedrick Waterfalls in Shimba Hills. We managed to visit Savo West and Savo East for a 2-day trip, and things were just that very successful, and
And maybe can you just figure out the achievements that you have done since you take the position as the principal?
Achievements of this school actually is very tremendous. One, this is the only school that has managed to be in the top 3 of these 28 secondary schools handling KCSE within Nyali sub-county today and within Great Kisauni. When we started this school in 2016, it was like a joke. But this is the school that was registered inside 1 year and as a center up to date because of the performance of the school. We might have challenges, like for example, enrolling some students from other schools whom we are not sure whether they were going to school or not, lowering our school mean grade. But that only happened in last year, but one. The current result is quite marvelous. We only had 3 E's. Great achievement. We have taken students universities directly from this compound. In fact, our best student is currently doing pure mathematics, and we are very proud of it, because that's a student that got only 283 marks. Another one got 262. They are both in campus. Right from here, we taught them in the same. So it's a great achievement. This is the only school that, as I've said before, has managed to take students for these academic trips the way they are, managing the finances given to us by the parents without any complaint, because that is where the problem comes from. Everything looks like a business, but sometimes it might not be the normal business when you're given money by the parents and you don't do the right thing. At the end of the day, you have problems. Yes, we have the school as a very strong football team. We have the full football kit written at Halifax High School. We had competed in several competitions. It's only last year, or since the beginning of the corona issue, the students were not allowed to mix. We used to play at Boston Simulatewa, and these are not done by most of the private schools, because when the students pay activity fee, they don't actually, they assume it. They assume it completely. Music festivals in Aldina Visram, we have been to those places and we have performed poem recitation. We have been actually at the peak, and that is why we are even known for our marvelous activities at a school. I personally would say that I prioritize the success of the school than personal income. That's how I look at it. Changing the lives of so many students that could have not been in school. Some of them came to school with slippers. Some students came to school without uniform. Some students that were hopeless left that gate with certificates, and some of them are today working, and even sometimes they pass by here to actually greet us. I'm very happy, because one of our most disciplined students in history was forced to join the police force, and he was recently just upgraded, and recently was here. He's a very young man, and you cannot know he's a police officer, and you see that's very good. So sometimes my message to the people outside, let them not look at the school as a private school. The school, there's no private school. The privacy comes in terms of business holder. But the students are Kenyan students. The teachers are Kenyan teachers. The syllabus is Kenyan syllabus 844. And that's what we offer. And that, in that regard, we require a lot of support. Emotional support, financial support, sponsorship, such like things that can actually facilitate learning. Again, it is possible. If you look at us today, majority of students are not in school. But for them, they might wonder, why students are not in school? Why? If it was me, I believe that is the time the student will enjoy most, because the student-teacher ratio is actually fair. Every student can reach, the teacher can reach all the students with their problems, handle them, and that is what makes the difference between us and some of the other big schools that even take these students with 50 marks. They take them with 200 marks, and finally they get home with an E. So it doesn't make sense to me. You get me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, what is the last message can you give maybe our MP, Honorable Mohammad Ali, that if maybe he watched this video, he come across maybe in YouTube, what is the message can you give him?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to talk about it because it's much political, but I would say that I know Ali will watch this video. I want to say that personally I don't have any problem with Mohammad Ali. We have done several meetings with him, and we had some fractures, and when I asked the education officer, the DEO, to produce the results, we unanimously agreed that the private schools were doing better than public schools. There is no question about it. It is the truth. It is the truth, because public schools admits a lot of students. They reach Form 3, they are told to go and look for somewhere. They reach Form 2, they are told to go back and start from 1. Learning is disrupted, and finally you find that, like a school in the last KCSE last year, but one of the public schools within Nyali had around 173 E's. Another one near us had 113 E's. So my message to him is to know that Kenyan students are Kenyan students. He is supposed to give equitable bursary to all the students who are Kenyan people, not only public schools. Because at the end of it, private carries the flag in Mombasa. Private schools, the coastal region, right from Malindi to Lamu to South Coast, you will find that the private schools are on top. Around me, Sheikh Khalifa, Lice Academy, in town, Abureria. Those are the schools that you can hear. Sheikh Khalifa, those are the schools you can hear. You come to Nyali in this level, you will only hear about Halifax. And I thank God for that, because some of the schools that I found existing are now being degraded. Yote certificates zao zimechukuliwa because of lack of integrity in terms of commitment to the students. So the Mohammad Ali should know that these are Kenyan people. We require his support. We support him, and the time for politics actually passed and went. He have to give us the service as Nyali people, not as private. The money that is coming to school from the CDF, NGCDF of Nyali, is not the only money that comes here. We receive money from Malindi, Pokomoland, we receive some from Nairobi. These are all NGCDF. He's the only guy who now says we cannot get the bursaries, and those other MPs are also just elected MPs like him. This money, according to him, he feels inaingia kwa mfuko yangu. This money is not getting into my pocket. I have bills here to pay, even if I didn't mention. One of the greatest challenge is the rent, and how I wish that probably one day we get a sponsor and we have a big space that we can't pay rent, and we have our own vehicles to shunt up the students from town to Nyali and from every suburbs of Nyali. It will be very great. So my message to Mohammad, you are a very good friend of mine, and you know that I don't always beat around the bush. When I talk to you like I've known you for so long, since 2007. We have had several meetings with you, one-on-one in your office, and you know it. What I'm telling you is what I know is the truth. If I find a way of reaching us also, even just giving success cards to the students in private school is a great achievement. He doesn't care about the private schools, despite that he has worked so well by putting in place some schools like Wabulo, Kongowea, and Mohammad Ali Girls within Mlaleo. But we are also here. We are actually contributing to economic, academic development of the Nyali people and for the Kenyan people. So,
but the big question is
why?
Why? Do it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. But the big question is
why?
Oh,
Why?
thank you.